Alex Eala is a 20-year-old tennis player from the Philippines who stands on the verge of making history in Asian tennis. Right now, she is preparing for two incredibly important tournaments that could define her career and change the landscape of tennis in her region forever. These competitions are not just regular stops on the tennis calendar for her. They represent opportunities to prove that she belongs among the elite players in the world, and to show that all the records she has broken this year are just the beginning of something much bigger. The tournaments ahead of her are the Guangzhou Open and the Hong Kong Tennis Open, and both will test everything she has learned and developed throughout her young career. What makes these events so significant is not just their timing, but also the level of competition she will face and the platform they provide for her to demonstrate her skills to the entire tennis world. These are the kinds of tournaments where careers are made, where young players announce themselves as future champions, and where Alex has a genuine chance to cement her status as one of the most exciting young talents in women's tennis today. Understanding who Alex Eala is requires looking at her entire journey, because she is not simply another talented young player trying to make a name for herself on the professional circuit. She represents something far more significant. At just 20 years old, she has already achieved things that no Filipino tennis player, male or female, has ever accomplished before. Her career high ranking of 54th in the world makes her the highest-ranked tennis player in Philippine history. This achievement alone would be remarkable, but it becomes even more impressive when you consider that she is still developing as a player and has many years ahead of her to climb even higher. Her development as a player took place at one of the most prestigious tennis academies in the world. She trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Manacor, Mallorca, Spain, where she learned from the same coaches who helped shape one of tennis's all-time greats. This academy is not just a place where young players go to improve their technique. It is an environment specifically designed to create champions, to instill the work ethic and mental toughness that separates good players from great ones. Rafael Nadal himself developed his legendary fighting spirit and never-give-up attitude at this facility, qualities that helped him win 22 Grand Slam titles throughout his career. By choosing to train there, Alex surrounded herself with excellence every single day and absorbed the mentality required to succeed at the highest levels of professional tennis. Even before she turned professional, Alex was already showing signs of exceptional talent. She became a junior Grand Slam champion, winning major titles at both the U.S. Open and French Open at the junior level. In 2022, she captured the U.S. Open Girls Singles Championship, becoming the first player from the Philippines to ever win a junior major title. This victory was significant not just for her personal development, but also for what it represented for tennis in her country. She proved that Filipino players could compete and win at the highest levels of junior tennis. However, what truly sets her apart is that she refused to rest on those junior accomplishments. Instead, she took that competitive fire and determination and brought it to the professional tour, where the competition is far more intense and the challenge is much greater. The year 2025 has been transformative for Alex, the kind of season that changes the trajectory of an entire career and rewrites what is possible for tennis players from her country. Earlier this year, she reached the final of the Eastbourne Open, one of the prestigious grass-court tournaments that serves as preparation for Wimbledon. Getting to that final was not the result of favorable draws or lucky circumstances. She earned her place by defeating players ranked significantly higher than herself, demonstrating a complete game that caught the attention of coaches, commentators, and tennis analysts around the world. Every match she played in that tournament showed opponents that facing her would be a genuine battle, regardless of their ranking or experience. Her game combines several elements that make her particularly dangerous on court. She plays an aggressive baseline style, constantly looking to dictate points rather than simply responding to her opponents. Her court coverage is exceptional, allowing her to retrieve balls that many players would not even reach. Perhaps most importantly, she has shown tremendous mental toughness in tight situations, finding ways to win crucial points when matches are on the line. All of these components came together during her Eastbourne run, and it was not merely a fortunate week. It was a statement to the tennis world that Alex Eala represents the future not only of Philippine tennis, but of Asian tennis as a whole. That performance helped propel her ranking to 54th in the world, positioning her within reach of breaking into the top 50. The significance of this cannot be overstated. No Filipino player in the entire history of professional tennis has ever cracked the top 50 in the world rankings. Alex is now close enough to achieve this milestone that it feels almost inevitable. Assuming she continues her trajectory and maintains her health, she is knocking on that door, and it seems like only a matter of time before she breaks through. Her achievements in 2025 extend well beyond Eastbourne, though. At the Miami Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments outside of the Grand Slams, she received a wildcard entry and proceeded to shock the entire tennis world with a series of stunning victories. She defeated Jelena Ostapenko, a Grand Slam champion and former top 5 player known for her powerful game. Then she followed that up by beating Madison Keys, another major champion and consistently dangerous player. But the most remarkable result came when she defeated Iga Swiatek, who at the time was the world #1 and holder of multiple Grand Slam titles. Beating 3 Grand Slam champions in straight sets at a single tournament is an achievement that most professional players never accomplish in their entire careers. Alex became the first wildcard in WTA history to achieve this feat, and her run to the semifinals before losing to Jessica Pegula had already proven everything she needed to prove about her ability to compete with the absolute best players in the world. On March 31st of this year, she officially entered the WTA Top 100 for the first time, becoming the first Filipino player ever to reach this ranking milestone. The celebrations back home in the Philippines were massive and heartfelt. She was not just making personal history or breaking tennis records. She was inspiring millions of people in her country, giving them someone to believe in and root for in a sport where they had never had representation at this level before. The pride and excitement she generated showed how much her success meant beyond just the tennis court. Her Grand Slam performances have also been impressive and historically significant. At Wimbledon, she faced Barbara Krejcikova, a former Grand Slam champion, showing that she was not intimidated by the grandest stages in tennis or by opponents with major titles to their names. At the U.S. Open, she became the first Filipino player to win a match at a major tournament in the Open era when she defeated Clara Tauson in the first round. Every time she steps onto the court at these massive events, she carries with her the dreams and aspirations of millions of Filipinos who have never before had someone representing them at this level of professional tennis. The pressure that comes with this responsibility would overwhelm many players, but Alex has handled it with grace, maturity, and an unshakable belief in her own abilities. She also captured her first WTA 125 title at the Guadalajara Open, where she defeated Pana Udvardy in the final as the second seed. This title made her the first Filipino player to ever win a WTA 125 tournament, adding yet another historic achievement to her already impressive list of accomplishments. These 125 events are important stepping stones for players trying to establish themselves on the professional tour, and winning one demonstrates both consistency and the ability to close out matches under pressure. Recent weeks have brought some challenges that have tested her resilience. At the Japan Open, she lost to a young Czech qualifier named Tereza Valentova, a result that was disappointing given her expectations and form coming into the tournament. Before that, the Wuhan tournament did not produce the results she had hoped for either. These losses are the kinds of setbacks that every professional athlete faces at some point, and they can be particularly difficult for young players who are still learning how to navigate the ups and downs of a long season. However, what separates true champions from other talented players is how they respond to adversity. Stars use losses as motivation rather than letting them become defining moments that shake their confidence. They analyze what went wrong, make necessary adjustments to their preparation or tactics, and come back stronger than before. Throughout tennis history, every legendary player has experienced periods where results did not match expectations. Serena Williams had stretches where her game was not clicking and losses piled up. Naomi Osaka has been open about periods of doubt and struggle with her mental health. Even Rafael Nadal, whose academy helped shape Alex's development, has dealt with seasons marred by injuries and unexpected defeats. But all of these champions found ways to bounce back, often returning even hungrier and more focused than they were before their struggles began. This is exactly the position Alex finds herself in right now, and the timing is actually quite favorable for her. She has had sufficient time to work with her coaches, analyze the matches that did not go well, and make adjustments to her game and preparation. She arrives at these upcoming tournaments not as someone scrambling to find form, but as a player who has done the necessary work and is ready to showcase her best tennis when it matters most. The setbacks she experienced have likely only strengthened her resolve and given her additional motivation to prove that those results were aberrations rather than indicators of her true level. The Guangzhou Open represents her first major opportunity to demonstrate this renewed focus. She enters this tournament as the 5th seed, which is a significant statement about how the tennis world views her despite the recent losses. Tournament organizers and seeding committees looked at the entire field of players and determined that Alex Eala is one of the 5 best players in the draw. This recognition confirms that her reputation and ranking position her as one of the favorites, someone who is expected to advance deep into the tournament. Being seeded fifth is not just an honor, but also a practical advantage, as it means she will face lower-ranked opponents in the early rounds, giving her opportunities to build momentum and confidence with each victory. The Guangzhou Open takes place from October 20th through the 26th, giving her a full week to work her way through the draw and potentially capture the title. The field includes solid professional players like Lucia Bronzetti and Tajana Maria, both of whom have been competing on the tour for many years and have their own strengths and achievements. However, neither of these players possesses the combination of youth hunger and raw talent that Alex brings to every match. She has advantages that go beyond just her ranking number. Her physical fitness allows her to compete at a high level throughout long matches and week-long tournaments. Her aggressive style can overwhelm opponents before they settle into a rhythm. Most importantly, she has the belief that she belongs among the best players in any draw she enters. This tournament represents a perfect opportunity for her to dominate from the opening round through to the final. With her seeding protecting her from facing other top players until the later rounds, she should be able to establish momentum early and build confidence with each victory. The goal is not just to have a good showing but to win the tournament outright, to send a message that the recent losses were temporary blips and that she remains one of the most dangerous young players on tour. Following Guangzhou comes an even bigger challenge and opportunity. The Hong Kong Tennis Open runs from October 27th through November 2nd and serves as Alex's season finale for 2025. The field for this tournament is exceptionally strong, featuring some of the biggest names in women's tennis. Naomi Osaka, a four-time Grand Slam champion and global icon who has transcended tennis to become one of the most recognizable athletes in the world, will be competing. Emma Raducanu, who captured worldwide attention with her fairy tale run to the U.S. Open title as a qualifier, bringing her fame and expectations that few young players have ever experienced, will also be in Hong Kong. Leylah Fernandez, another emerging young star who plays with an aggressive, fearless style that has made her one of the most exciting players to watch, is also entered. And perhaps most notably for Alex, Daria Kasatkina, who defeated her in that Eastbourne final earlier this year, will be there as well. This tournament is not simply another event on the calendar. It is a showcase featuring the best that women's tennis has to offer, bringing together established champions, rising stars, and players who represent the future of the sport. Alex Eala has earned her place among these elite competitors. She is not traveling to Hong Kong just to participate or gain experience. She is going there to compete at the highest level, to win matches against these big names, and to demonstrate that she deserves to be mentioned in every conversation about the next generation of tennis superstars. The tournament will attract significant media attention and large crowds, creating an electric atmosphere that will bring out the best in all competitors. One aspect of Alex's game that does not always receive sufficient attention is her mental strength. After her loss at the Japan Open, she did not hide from journalists or make excuses about the conditions or the opponent or anything else beyond her control. She faced the media honestly and acknowledged that she could not find solutions during that match. This kind of self-awareness and honesty is rare, particularly in young athletes who might be tempted to deflect blame or minimize disappointing results. Champions have this ability to honestly assess their performances, to acknowledge when things are not working, because that honest assessment is the first step toward making necessary improvements. Her years training at the Nadal Academy provided her with much more than technical skills and tactical knowledge. The academy instilled in her the mindset of a warrior, someone who never gives up regardless of how difficult a situation becomes. Rafael Nadal is legendary not just for his powerful forehand or his success on clay courts, but for his mental strength, his ability to find ways to win matches even when he is not playing his best tennis, his refusal to accept defeat until the final point has been played. This mentality has been passed down to Alex through years of training in an environment where these values are emphasized every single day. She has absorbed this competitive DNA, and it shows in how she fights in crucial moments and refuses to let matches slip away without giving maximum effort. She has worked with world-class coaches who have seen every possible situation that can arise in professional tennis. They have helped her prepare for high-pressure moments, for facing different styles of opponents, for managing expectations and dealing with disappointment. All of this preparation is designed for exactly these kinds of tournaments, where the stakes are high and the pressure is immense. Rather than wilting under these circumstances, Alex has shown throughout her career that she rises to meet big challenges. The bigger the stage, the better she tends to perform, which is exactly the quality that separates players who have nice careers from those who become genuine stars. Looking ahead to these two tournaments, everything seems to be aligning for Alex to have an exceptional end to her season. She has worked through the disappointment of recent losses and made the necessary adjustments. She is entering Guangzhou as a seeded player with a favorable draw. She has the fitness, the game, and the mental toughness required to win multiple matches in quick succession. The competition, while solid, does not feature any players who should be overwhelming favorites against her. If she plays the aggressive, confident tennis that she displayed earlier in the year at Eastbourne and Miami, there is no reason she cannot make deep runs at both tournaments. Hong Kong presents a bigger challenge simply because of the quality of opponents she will face, but it also offers the biggest opportunity. Defeating players like Osaka, Raducanu, or Fernandez would be statement victories that would resonate throughout the tennis world. Even reaching the late rounds of such a strong tournament would demonstrate that her ranking and reputation are well deserved. These are the kinds of results that can propel a player into an even higher tier of recognition and respect within the sport. What makes Alex's story so compelling is not just her individual achievements, but what she represents for Philippine tennis and Asian tennis more broadly. For decades, tennis in Asia has been dominated by players from China and Japan, with occasional breakthrough performances from other countries. Alex is showing that the Philippines can produce world-class tennis talent, that young Filipino athletes should dream of tennis careers because success is possible. She is opening doors and creating pathways that did not exist before. Every young tennis player in the Philippines now has a role model, someone who looks like them and comes from their country, who has proven that reaching the top levels of professional tennis is achievable. The pressure that comes with this pioneering role could be crushing, but Alex seems to embrace it rather than fear it. She understands that her success matters beyond just her own career goals. She is carrying the hopes of an entire nation, inspiring young athletes, and changing perceptions about what Filipino players can accomplish in international sports. This kind of responsibility would overwhelm many athletes, but she has handled it with remarkable maturity and composure. She speaks eloquently about representing her country, acknowledges the support she receives from home, and seems genuinely motivated by the opportunity to inspire others rather than burdened by expectations. As she prepares for Guangzhou and Hong Kong, everything that has happened this year has been building toward this moment. The early season success that saw her break into the top 100 and defeat multiple Grand Slam champions proved she belongs among the elite. The challenges and losses she experienced more recently have given her perspective and motivation. The training she has put in since those disappointments has sharpened her game and renewed her confidence. She enters these tournaments as a dangerous opponent for anyone, regardless of ranking or reputation. The tennis world will be watching these tournaments closely, not just because of the star-studded fields, but because of storylines like Alex's journey. Commentators and analysts love narratives about young players on the rise, about athletes who represent something larger than themselves, about competitions where reputations and rankings can shift dramatically based on a few key matches. Alex Eala embodies all of these storylines. She is young and talented with her best years still ahead of her. She represents a country that has never before had success in professional tennis. She has already proven she can beat the best players in the world on her best days. Now she has the opportunity to show that she can do it consistently over the course of two important tournaments. If she captures either of these titles, particularly Hong Kong with its stronger field, it would be the biggest achievement of her career to date. It would likely push her ranking closer to that magical top 50 threshold that no Filipino player has ever reached. It would generate enormous pride and celebration back home. It would cement her status as one of the most exciting young players in women's tennis. Even strong performances without winning titles would be valuable, showing that she can consistently compete at this level and building momentum heading into the next season. The journey that brought her to this point has been remarkable, but the most exciting part is that this is still just the beginning. At 20 years old, she is not at her peak yet. Players typically reach their prime in their mid to late 20s, meaning Alex has years ahead of her to continue developing, gaining experience, and climbing the rankings. If she can accomplish this much at 20, imagine what she might achieve at 25 or 28 with additional years of experience and physical development. The ceiling for her career seems extraordinarily high, limited perhaps only by injuries or circumstances beyond her control rather than by any lack of talent or determination. These next 2 weeks could be career-defining for Alex Eala. They represent opportunities to build on everything she has accomplished, to overcome the disappointment of recent setbacks and to finish her season on a high note that will carry momentum into the following year. The Guangzhou Open gives her a chance to win a title as a seeded player expected to perform well. The Hong Kong Tennis Open offers an opportunity to test herself against the very best players in the sport on a major stage. Both tournaments will challenge her in different ways, but she has proven throughout her young career that she is capable of meeting whatever challenges arise. The entire tennis world will be watching to see what this young Filipino superstar can accomplish when everything is on the line.